So the second part of my big adventure on my day out in Dublin was to head over to the famous Darndale, the edge of nowhere as to say, to meet the one and only Immanuel Godson, an amazing artist who paints in a classic and realistic style. It's spruced up with a good healthy dose of modern day humour and satire. It was actually good to see that, like Eddie's homeless tour, which I did in the morning, and you can see that in my previous YouTube video, Emmanuel has also been well integrated into his community in the Darndale Community Centre. He's an artist of the people for the people, you could say. So what you will see in the following video is me having a nice chat with Emmanuel about his art and some of his opinions on the art scene and a bit more. Plus at the end he explains the ideas behind some of his work. So before I start, I'd just like to thank Emmanuel for giving me the chat and showing me his great works. Anyway, so here's the video with Emmanuel. Enjoy.
I'm a Dublin-based artist, a painter, fine art painter. What else? I don't know where to start.
Well, your name is a bit unusual. Is that?
Yeah, no. That's as a part of an exhibition I had in 2010. As a part of an exhibition I had in 2010 called Proper Psychosis, it was telling the story of my experience with psychosis in college. That part of the exhibition was to change my name by deed poking, so I changed my name. So my name is Immanuel Godson today.
Okay.
Right. Don't ask me what it was before.
No, but where did Emmanuel Godson come from?
It gave more meaning. The reason I chose Emmanuel, I wasn't chose, I was inspired to do it, is it gave more meaning to the work in the exhibition.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So there's lots of coincidences. There's lots of coincidences around it.
Well, yes, it certainly stands out, you know. And where are you from? Are you from this part of Dublin?
I'm from Coolock, yeah.
Okay, so just up the road, isn't it?
Yeah, not too far. But I moved away when we were 10. We moved to England and we lived in Birmingham for 11 years. Okay. So I went to school in England.
Okay.
And I came back in '95, I think it was.
Yeah. Okay. And growing up as a kid, then, were you always interested in the art?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay.
From a young age, I always wanted to be an artist, but it never really came about, because when I left school, I went straight into work. I went on to night shift in a tyre factory. I never had the time or the energy to invest all my might into learning how to paint properly. So it only came about recently. I decided as a mature student I'd go back to college and do a degree in fine art, which I did.
Yeah.
But I went to Dunleary College when I was 28. But during my time there, I exhausted myself and I had a nervous breakdown. So I was subsequently I was diagnosed schizophrenic because I had a major psychosis in college because of exhaustion. Okay. So I didn't get my degree. But I came away with a degree of insanity. So when I fell ill and I became disabled, that gave me lots of time. All I ever did all day was just paint.
Okay.
So
do you think that opened up something in your...
It gave me the opportunity to invest all my time in the art, you know.
Okay.
Because when I was a working man, I never had the time, and when I did have the time, I was too tired.
Yeah. But like, you're very talented. I mean, you must have seen at a young age, like...
I had a talent at a young age, but I tell you, I resent the third level college that I went to, because they stifled all my enthusiasm for painting.
Okay.
I actually didn't do painting. I learned nothing in college. They pushed me against my will really into doing sculpture. So I did sculpture in college. You know, they told me in first year, they says, go home and break your brushes and throw them in the bin. You're never going to make it as a painter.
Really?
Yeah, they did.
Man.
So it was a disappointing time.
So,
and it was also, looking back on it, was a very negative environment in the college there.
Yeah.
I think I was subject to a bit of a bullying campaign as well, which damaged my mental health.
Okay. Okay. But when you were a child, like were you always drawing, or?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. I don't have much work now. I don't have much work from my youth. You know, I draw something here and there, but I never had a portfolio to keep. You know.
Yeah.
So most of my life, it only came about recently that I became a full-time professional painter.
Okay.
I wouldn't even call myself professional. I'd be called amateur stroke professional.
Yeah. Well, like I'm not big into my art, but like for the both of us, like we're looking at our stuff and we think it's excellent. Like I mean,
yeah, it's coming together now nicely. I'm getting the knack, you know. But what I want to paint, I like photorealism. I like hyperrealism in painting. Okay. That's what fascinates me.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever achieve the level of realism that other artists can. So
yeah, but you put something different in your pictures as well. Like it's.
The reason I paint a picture is there's a message and a story in it. Yeah. You know.
I'm looking at the water charges thing over here.
Yeah, there's little jokes to be had left, right, and centre.
Yeah. Then the question is, why do you do that? Then why do you do what you do? Why?
I suppose I'm an insular person, you know. I keep all myself mostly in my own space in my bedroom and that. So I don't go out drinking, watching the football around. So I'm always at the art. So what I'm doing in my time there is entertaining myself. Yeah. So I'm telling myself a story with the paintings.
Yeah. Okay.
And it develops, and meanings come together in some strange ways sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I'm blown away sometimes by some of the coincidences that happen in my art. I think there's a little bit more to it. I don't believe in the word coincidence, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, some things are meant to be.
I think so too. Yeah. So I mean, well, how long does it take you to? Like, how long is the creative process for you then? When you think like, when you have something in your head, how long does it take before you put it in your head on canvas? Or what's the process in that?
At the moment, I'm working on a self-portrait, touching on the mental health services, and I've done a photo shoot, right? So I've chosen the photographs. So what I'll have to do is stretch up a canvas, and then sketch out the drawing, and then do the underpainting, and then render the final pass. Okay. So I'll spend. I used to spend about a month on a large painting, but I'm a little bit quicker now. I'm a little bit more adept. So it'll be like a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks max.
That's not too bad though, is it?
Oh, it's quick, yeah. I'm very impatient when I'm painting. I want to see the image finished. So I don't have the time. I don't have the personality to mull over inch by inch, hour by hour. You know, I like to get it on and get it gone.
Well, I had a question like, how do you know when a piece is finished? Because you know, like for writers, editing is the hard part, and they keep chopping and changing, maybe tweaking with the end of the storyline. Like, I mean, what's stopping you from, like, what's stopping you from finishing it rather than?
The thing that's stopping me from working on it, right? I'll do I'll do a drawing, I'll do the underpainting, and then I'll do a second pass as the rendering pass. Okay. And sometimes I'll do a third pass just to finalise all the details. Yeah. Okay, so maximum 3 passes over the canvas, over the whole image. I'll paint the image once, paint the image again, and then I'll put the final touches on it. So that's 3 passes. After the third pass, if I'm still not happy with it, I drop it, I just leave it alone and move on to something else, because you could agonise for months and months over painting and overwork it, and you get bogged down.
Yeah. Do you have unfinished pieces that you've had?
Unfinished pieces?
Unfinished pieces that you've just been...
Once or twice. Yeah, once or twice I abandoned the paint. Wow,
yeah. Is it an expensive business?
Very expensive. Yeah. I'm on disability, right? So I'm diagnosed schizophrenic, so I'm on disability. All my spare money goes on art materials, and then I have my mother who supports me, who spends a lot of money supporting me, keeping my art thing going. Okay. I mean, probably other people would probably be embarrassed. I'm 45 years old and I'm still dependent on my mother.
Just great works of art, I think. So.
Well, she's kept me going. You know, Vincent had COI, I have my mother.
Yeah, well, she should be. Like, I'm sure she's proud. Like, you know, your art.
She is. She sees it as an investment. You know.
Well, it's a nice place here, like in the
I'm very lucky to be in this place.
Was it the Darndale Community Centre? Is it?
It's the Bell Centre, yeah. It's actually, when I brought me work down, they decided to open the place, launch an official gallery, so it's known as the Northside Gallery. I think we're the only gallery on the north side that does what we do.
Yeah. So how do the local people react when they come in and have a look at your work?
There's a good positive feedback. You know, they love the work. You know, but this gallery, it's not just about me. Like, there's lots of different
I know.
artists. You can see that. Like,
good stuff here. Yeah.
it's a bunch of I'm surprised at how many amateur artists there are in the area. You know, the art scene in Darndale is amazing. You know?
Yeah, you're right. It's an awful lot of work everywhere here. Everywhere I look, there's good art.
So,
you know?
so when I first approached the Bell Centre, I was how would you put it? I was living the solitary life because I was diagnosed with schizophrenia. That I wasn't engaging with the community. But when I came down here, I was welcomed with open arms, and I was encouraged and supported by everybody. And it just turned my whole personality around. That I thought, Jesus, I am a part of something, you know. So this centre has done the world of good for me.
And does your mood change when you're on a particular piece? Like like the creative process. I mean, are you insular? You can't be talked to, or you're like when you're doing a picture? Like what's going through your mind when you're
when I'm working on the painting to get it finished, I'd be working until I'm very tired.
Okay.
You know.
Like long into the night, is it?
Yeah, I work. It's a problem. It's a problem with me. It's part of my illness or my diagnosis that I don't sleep. Yeah. Sometimes I stay awake all night.
Where would you do? Do you do the art here, or is
no? I do it in my bedroom.
Your own place.
I live in because of the housing crisis in Dublin. I live in a garden shed at home in my family home. The house is crowded, so I live down the end of the garden in the garden shed.
Wow.
So that's where I paint all my masterpieces.
So probably you just get up. It's still in your mind when you're asleep, and you just jump. Do you jump at it?
Well, everything is in front of me. The minute I get out of bed, my work is there in front of me. You know, and it's all I'm ever concerned with. Anyway, it's all I love. I've invested everything into painting. So from the moment I get up, I plan on sitting down at the easel and painting. And sometimes I do really long sessions. Yeah. Other times I live just 1 or 2 hours here and there.
Okay.
But my sleeping pattern, it shifts from days. I go on to nights. Yeah. More often than not, I'll be working at night time. So
you become the painting.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with. Once I have a finished, like a large canvas that I want to get finished, I become obsessed with it. Yeah. You know.
But as we were saying, like there's a lot of hidden gems and mysteries in your work. It's quite clever. Like there's little stories. I mean, where does that come from then?
It's just my imagination over just play. You know, I'm just playing with ideas. That's all it is. Having fun with it. You know.
Okay. Well. Do artists see the world differently than normal people? Normal in inverted commas.
I think they do. Yeah. I think in a sense they do.
Yeah.
A certain personality type that thinks creatively.
So what?
I remember I was walking down the street with my brother and I says, look at that gorgeous sunset.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to stop and look at the sunset and say, take it all in. And my brother says, what? He's shrugging his shoulders. What?
Yeah.
So I think there's different personality types for that kind of thing.
Yeah. You know? Does that give you a certain leeway to do what you want to do then? Because people accept, well, you're an artist, you're a bit different.
Well, I said it on Don's stream that, you know, because I'm diagnosed schizophrenic, I can say anything I want. Because nobody's listening to me. They'll say, I don't mind him, he's mad. Yeah. You know, so it gives me a license to say whatever I like.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. I haven't gotten into trouble so far.
How did they treat you in this place then?
They're
some of your artists.
I'll tell you, they're fair. Now, sometimes they will say, look, we can't put that up. Because it's a family community centre, you have kids in sometimes and other people who are a bit too sensitive, that they'll say, that's a bit too much, we can't put that up. Yeah. You know, and I understand that.
Yeah, for sure.
But for the most part, they'll give you a platform, you know. They're kind of neutral. They're not left wing, you know. They're neutral.
Yeah, well, some of the probably controversial stuff is very high up. You have to look up.
There's a painting that's supposed to go up there. We're changing the place around. Them 3 paintings there coming down. And what I've done is I've done a recreation of Da Vinci's Last Supper.
Yeah, that's the one I seen. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's in the news. That was in the newspaper.
Yeah.
That was a news article. But that's going up there. Yeah. I might bring it up and show you if the door is open.
Yeah. What do you think of modern art, like Tracy Emin and Damien Hirst and all these kind of people?
I'm against it, right? But if I had a magic button to say, get rid of modern art, or let's make it not happen back in the 19th century with Manet and all these people, right? I wouldn't press the button. I'd say let it happen, right? Because there is some really interesting stuff that happened along the way in the 19th century with Van Gogh, and I love Van Gogh. I love all this kind of stuff. But today's modern art is gone ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Well, why do you think these people are like they're always out there and there seem to be, you know, popular in certain circles? Is that say something about our society? I don't know.
I think there is an elitist circle cabal running the art world.
Yeah.
And they're completely left-wing Marxists, right? The homosexuals rule the art world as well, right?
Yeah.
You don't get anywhere unless you're on board with the LGBT.
Okay, yeah.
Right? You won't be platformed. I believe I'm blacklisted.
Yeah.
That you'll have nothing to do with me on the mainstream galleries.
Yeah. They're not just looking at your work, they're looking at, like, well, what does he believe?
Yeah, it's all about politics. It's about the left and right politics.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're guilty of wrong thing, you just don't get in. I resent the modern art world today. It's bullshit, basically.
Yeah.
And it's shockingly offensive as well.
Yeah.
There's no holds barred with them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we don't know anything about art, but like we're just ordinary working class people, like, and we just like Darndale. We walk in and we see this. It's not just yours. Everything here is pretty good. It's inclusive, like, and then like Damien Hirst and all these people, Tracy Emin, like their art is created for the million dollar market. You know, it's exclusive. It doesn't speak to ordinary people. You know, it's not for that.
I think Paul Joseph Watson done some brilliant videos on modern art. His explanation of what modern art is spot on.
Yeah.
He hit the nail on the head with his videos. I think it's all they're just clutching at straws, trying to keep the show going.
Yeah.
To preserve the millions. It's a complete sham.
Yeah.
You know, they're claiming to be, you know, these pseudo intellectuals. It's inside our back scratching and pretending to be important and pretending to be profound and all this when there's absolutely nothing in the work.
They have to have something that we could never appreciate.
It's the elitism, like I get it and you don't because you're uneducated, because you're lower than us. You know? So
what artists have you enjoyed and who's inspired you?
I've turned my eyes now to the classical art, you know. Some of the great names like Caravaggio. I do Caravaggio reproductions. Bouguereau was my favourite artist in history. I think he was the greatest painter in history.
I don't know anything about him, sorry.
Bouguereau did, you know, the Mary and the Angels, and he did the Venus.
Okay.
He did a few famous pieces, but he was the best painter.
Okay.
Technically skilled painter.
Okay.
He did the most beautiful, mesmerising work you'd ever see.
Okay.
So he's my favourite, but there's artists, there's a new renaissance happening in America.
Okay.
And I think in China as well, with artists that are revisiting the academic style and the academic approach. So they're going for the realism.
Okay, good.
And there's some great painters. I love there's artists like Cesar Santos on YouTube and Scott Waddell. I learn a lot from him.
Okay. What do you get from these guys? How did
well, they do instructional videos on YouTube, so you pick up tips and tricks and it helps you improve your own work.
Okay.
And what I like about them is they're not bidding for millions.
Yeah.
They're not greedy.
Yeah.
They're honest with their work and they share their work openly with people who want to learn.
So how has your style improved over the years? Like, how has it developed?
How has it developed? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just improved the technical side of it. Like,
are you always working on it, like, to improve, or are you just happy where you are at the moment? Or
sometimes I'll learn new things and then I'll do a bit of work with what I've learned, and then I'll learn another little bit, and so I'm always trying to improve. But sometimes I'll do a block where it's all, you know, the same.
Okay.
Like I think my painting in the past was mediocre, you know, but now I'm getting the hang of it now, you know.
Yeah, but I'm sure, like other people might not think it's mediocre, you know. So it's always worth keeping your stuff just in case.
My goals, in comparison to my goals and my vision for what I'd love to be able to do, my past work is really mediocre.
Okay.
You know, I'd love, maybe when I'm 60 years old, I'd be happy with one of my paintings. So at the moment, I paint a painting and I'll step back and say, it looks kind of alright, looks finished, looks like a classical piece of art.
Yeah.
You know, if you do a handstand and squint, it kind of looks like, you know.
What is your favourite piece amongst all your work?
My favourite piece? At the moment, I think it's The Last Supper.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be, I did a second version of the Mary and the Angels that I painted it really nicely.
Okay.
It's actually, it was leaning not so much towards the meaning, but just it became a beautiful object. It was painted really well.
Okay. So why do you like the Last Supper one then?
The Last Supper, it's an interesting story, and it's a celebration of the community down here in Darndale.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of different. I got a chance to do. I love doing portraits, so I got a chance to paint loads of.
Were they all
portraits.
happy to be in the portrait?
Oh
yeah.
they were.
I don't know what your opinion is, but I think Ireland's in a rotten place at the moment, and
Ireland.
yeah, I think I do think so.
It's rife with corruption and everything, but I also, at the same time, to contradict everything we say about the corruption, I think we have a really good society as well.
Yeah, we've good people, but we've no like we were at the thing today, and listened to the lad's story. He's homeless,
Yeah.
You know, he's
But
had
that
a
should
hard
never happen
life.
in any city, you know.
Yeah, and there's 10,000 people like that tonight. It's not good enough, really.
No, it's not good enough. There is failures, you know. What I'm talking about the normal Joe Soap on the street, that we have a life of peace and a certain level of prosperity, you know. Sometimes life is difficult, but it's never too hard that it's going to kill you.
No.
And we have a decent, comfortable society with each other as well. We'd say hello to each other. And we're easygoing, and there's a charm about Ireland as well.
Does that influence your mood when you're, or what do you take from that? Like your surroundings, your everyday surroundings, or society maybe?
Well, you're asking the wrong person, because I'm paranoid schizophrenic. So I do have a meltdown sometimes. You know, I can't spend too long in the middle of town. You know, because what happens with me, my condition, it makes me, everything that's said around me, I take.
Okay.
I'm listening to what's being said around me, so I'm bombarded with all these different voices.
Okay.
Not voices in my head, what people are saying outside.
It just plays in your mind.
So I'm listening to everything that's being said, and I'm tuned in, and sometimes it can get really stressful.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a negative experience. So you're talking about, am I stressed or anything? In certain situations, when I can't escape the crowd, I can become a little bit dizzy and But normally I'm okay. About my diagnosis, I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky because I have my life back. I'm a recovered schizophrenic on the books. You know, I've been let go of the clinic. I don't see a psychiatrist. So I'm mended. But there's loads of people who don't get that far.
Yeah.
You know, that are suffering very much. So I'm very lucky.
You've learned to live with it and deal with it.
There's a couple of lads that I know that lost their life to it. You know, it's a life-threatening illness when it's at its height. You know?
Like the changing of your moods, the darkness.
Does it express in my work? No, I think when I'm at work, when I'm about my work, I'm level-headed and calm.
It's a happy process generally.
It's a steady and sober process, I call it.
Yeah.
So there's no real good mood, bad mood in the art. It's a technical laying down of paint, so I'm concentrating on the technical side of rendering an image. Okay. So there's no emotion in it really. Okay. That sounds terrible as an artist. There's no emotion in my art.
Yeah, but probably you think there's no emotion, but probably there is, because that's the product of it. I mean, it must be coming from somewhere. It's not just, you know, it's something that's inside you that's producing this. You know, it's not.
It's an idea that I want to express.
Yeah. Your radio joists with FM 104.
I'm banned, by the way. They haven't called me back in months. I think the last straw was I was giving a woman who was raped a hard time.
Yeah, I don't know if I heard that. But
what?
I don't know if I heard that.
Well, you won't hear it because they didn't put it up on the podcast. They completely disappeared the whole show because of what he said.
Okay. Well, so that you were on with the Don and Critique, which was very good.
Yeah, it was good.
So
Yeah,
what's
it was a nice conversation with them. Yeah.
I think that's probably how I first seen your stuff, and people naturally check your work, and then wow, this is pretty good.
I got a lot of subscribers out of that, you know.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about dumping the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I just deleted everything, and I deleted my YouTube channel was because there's two reasons. One was I was being harassed by a certain fella on YouTube who kept on slandering me. So I says I'm not going to give him the chance. You know, I'm going to delete all my stuff. He doesn't deserve the truth. You know, throw your pearls to swine and all that. So I took all my videos down. And secondly, because I'm gonna be interviewed by a mainstream newspaper at some point.
Okay.
So I don't want them doing a hit job on me.
Yeah.
If they see my videos, they'll do a hatchet job on me.
Yeah.
They'll automatically label me racist, homophobe, all this kind of stuff, which I don't want. So I'm trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
I'm not. That doesn't mean I'm being dishonest. I'm trying to hide stuff. I'm not going to make it easy for them. If they're going to do that to me, then
Well,
let
that's
them
what I
go
was thinking.
fish.
Yeah, make it easy for them.
Yeah.
But what made you want to ring the radio?
They ring me actually.
They ring you.
That's the truth. They ring me. I called him. I texted him when I first started off. I think it was about a year ago. I texted something to give me opinion about show, and they called me up and says, "Do you want to come on air and talk about it?" So I decided to do it.
Yeah.
And they liked how I spoke, and they liked that I was controversial, I think. So they kept on calling me back. You know, on a regular basis, they'd say, "Hey, Emmanuel, do you want to come on and talk about this topic?" And so they'd get me on. But I think they do it because they like to sensationalise the show, and I'm really blunt sometimes.
Yeah, you speak your mind.
Yeah.
Which is refreshing for some people, I think. You know.
Well, I think it got too much for Keith Ward now. He's a little bit of a lefty, you know. He's a little bit of a...
But he would play off that, like it's
his job to do it, to make it as exciting as possible and as controversial as possible. But I think the last straw with him was when there was a woman on. She claimed to be raped, and she claimed to got pregnant, and she had an abortion.
Yeah.
And she said it was the best decision she ever made to abort the baby.
Yeah.
And I was challenging her, and I was trying to get to the truth of it. I was saying, when you were 17, you had no counselling whatsoever about this baby's life, and you're telling me it's the best decision you ever made in your life. It just doesn't add up.
Yeah.
And he didn't like the way I was treating the woman. He was expecting me to say, "Oh, how terrible it was," and agree with everything she was saying. And I think she thought she had, because she was raped, she had a golden ticket that nobody could criticise her.
Her emotions.
So Keith Ward, he got all upset that I was victim blaming, he said, live on radio, and he got rid of me, and he hasn't called me back.
Yeah. There's some of them still up, I think.
I'll post I did a few shows, some on homosexuality and some on immigration in Islam.
Yeah.
I have a couple of recordings that I could post.
Yeah.
But I tried to get one or two, but they disappeared, you know.
Yeah. And have you, do you get any negative feedback, like from these with the Don and Critique and they're on being...
Well, there's trolls in there, you know.
Yeah.
There's trolls. Like the left wing trolls, they'll try and rag you and ridicule you and mock you and everything. Like they're all talking about inclusivity and all this. You don't body shame people, don't shame people because they're homosexual, don't do this. But when it comes to me, when they find out I'm schizophrenic, say, "Ha, look at this nut job." You know what I mean? That's always from the left.
Yeah.
I've never had a right-wing conservative person ridicule me because I was schizophrenic. It's always been the left.
Yeah.
So they talk about tolerance and inclusivity and all this, but they're just hypocrites. I've had it a number of times.
So yeah, I was going to ask, like what you said with YouTube, you took them down, but you put two back up.
I put a couple back up last night just for you.
But as you said, there's already people within 24 hours.
I had 20 subscribers yesterday, and within 1 hour of me putting the videos up, I think all my videos were reported.
Yeah.
So somebody's there trying to sabotage my channel.
Yeah.
Out of spite, out of badness.
Yeah.
Because there was no reason for them to. There's no reason for them to have a problem with the paintings. You know, it's just fine art.
Okay. They have artists in
But they
residence.
call me an artist in residence, but what I'm not, I don't actually paint here. I think that was their opinion of me, was something to call me, but I paint at home and I bring my paintings down here whenever there's room.
Okay.
We're going to have a reshuffle of the paintings soon.
And Emmanuel, if people wanted to follow you online, then like how can they follow you?
Online, Jeannie. I'm terrible, right, because I'm so outspoken and I like to troll the lefties, I like to trigger lefties. It's my hobby. I enjoy doing it. That I say things on Facebook and everything that get me banned all the time.
Yeah.
So I think the last week I was banned indefinitely on Facebook.
Yeah, you said that, I think, yeah.
So I just deleted my account and I'm deleted my account.
But like, what about Patreon? Have you ever tried?
No. I don't fish for money.
Yeah.
I don't.
But it's not. I wouldn't think it'd be fishing for money. Like, people appreciate your stuff. They want to give you some money to.
Well, no. Look, thanks be to God. You know, I have my disability and I have my mother.
Yeah.
I have everything I need. Thanks. You know, I'm not interested in I'd love to earn money, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I'd say that people support you, you know.
I don't know how. I wouldn't know how to feel about taking money off people just because I'm a painter.
Yeah. But it's not. It's like what we were with the fella today. Like, you know, I mean, we're paying him for his service. Like, we get about 50. Like, it's like your service is your painting. People get the energy off it, you know. So I don't know.
Well, in my experience of selling paintings, the artist is always shafted. You know, the last time I tried to sell work, I was completely exploited by, he was a businessman, so he was business minded, so he tried to get as much as he could for as little as possible. And I'm too soft, I'm just too naive and too soft, that he would have walked all over me. I would have got nothing, I would have got peanuts in return for high quality fine art, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm not business minded, I've never made money on my art. But we'll see, you never know. Maybe Larry Gagosian will come along and buy his painting for millions.
That's pretty much it, Emmanuel. Short and sweet. So I just want to thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me and for inviting us to the gallery and having a look at your work and what you do here. So thank you very much.
Do you want it? I'll explain a couple of the paintings just for the jokes in them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Come on up, I'll show you.
Do you ever sell any of them, Emmanuel? No.
No, very unlucky. I'm not business minded, so I don't know.
But you wouldn't have anybody coming in giving you a price for any of them, no?
No, the large ones, the problem is nobody has the room for them. But I like to paint large, you know.
Yeah.
But, all this work is a gift to the Northside people, by the way.
Yeah.
I say the community appreciate it though.
Well, they kind of like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of calming coming in here, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a nice spot. It's a nice building. So.
Yeah. Right in the middle of the community.
Some of them are really controversial though. Like that one you're filming there, it's about gay marriage.
This one up here?
Yeah, it's about gay marriage.
Okay. What are they holding then?
So they're holding up, the idea is Adam is holding up a certificate of marriage, gay marriage, and God is holding up a certificate of divorce. Right, an answer to it. So you're divorced from God. You know?
Yeah.
So you see all the cherubim around God, they're all like angry faces and frustrated.
Yeah.
There's one underneath them saying, doing the gesture like you're hanging yourself here, you know.
You can see one is disgusted.
There's one who's vomited on his leg, you know.
Oh yeah, I see that, in the corner, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's very good.
The tree up the top, that's a sycamore tree. So it's a play on words. Sycamore is like sick love.
Yeah. Very good.
So the Brian Cowan one, it's a reproduction of Rubens, right? But I've painted Brian Cowan in there, and he's sitting on a barrel of oil because while he was Taoiseach, he sold all the Irish oil, you know, for pennies to the pound, and then he sidestepped from politics into the CEO position of an oil company. You know, it's terrible corruption that worked there.
What's with the little kid in the corner?
On the corner, that represents the child of, you know, the common working man, the child of poverty that's in Ireland, you know, all the kids in poverty. Okay. That this feast is happening behind his back, you know?
Yeah.
So the elites have a different set of rules for themselves as they do to the common man.
Yeah.
So it connotes, because he's half naked and everything, it connotes all the institutional abuse in Ireland and everything that happened.
Yeah.
So he's the child of poverty, and it's
Celtic tiger then.
the Celtic tiger, right, is under his feet, so they're treating him like a footstool, and he's chewing down on a horse's hoof, and that's a reference to the horse meat controversy that was there a couple of years ago.
Okay.
You know, and we found out that the beef that we were eating was actually horse meat.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the government knew about it.
Yeah.
So that's
The Queen.
The Queen has her arm around Brian Cowan, you know, like they're best buddies. They're all working together, all the globalists, and she's pouring him a pint of Guinness because Brian Cowan was known to turn up to the Dáil to address the Irish people, half pissed and slurring his words.
Yeah.
You know. The gesture is on his left hand. In the original, the gesture was the same, that he's reaching round to the back as if to take something, like as if he's getting a backhander.
Yeah.
So I just painted in a brown envelope, you know, so he's getting a brown envelope backhander there. So that's that one.
This one there then.
Right, that one. So that's a Caravaggio reproduction, and the original was called St. Francis of Assisi in Ecstasy.
Okay.
Right, but my version is a kind of a play on words. I twisted the meaning, and it's now St. Francis and a sissy on ecstasy. So it's a gay drug using angel.
Okay.
He's got big pink fluffy wings, and he has like the smiley symbol for the rave culture.
Yeah.
So he's on ecstasy.
Yeah.
You know, and he's
Very good.
St. Francis is fainting at the corruption in the world. You know.
Yeah.
You can see he's embroiled in thorns and thistles in the ground. It's curling around his feet and everything. He's completely embroiled in this corruption, and he's fainting.
Yeah.
You know, he's such a holy man.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to deal with it, the poor man.
Yeah.
But the gay angel is accosting him.
Okay.
You know. This one is a Bouguereau reproduction. Now, I painted this years ago when I first started to try the reproductions. This was one of my first attempts at reproduction.
Okay.
And it's kind of badly drawn, a little bit.
Yeah.
But the idea is Mary, the angels are playing along to Mary. She has a mobile phone in her hand, and they're playing along to the jingle to get Christ to sleep. Now the scenario is that there's a bunch of litter on the ground, and there's a lighting cigarette just in the corner. So it was as if somebody was there a minute ago.
Okay, yeah.
Somebody who's corrupt, who's eating junk food or with vice, and they're littering the place and everything. I wonder who that could be. So it's Satan, the devil was there a minute ago, and he legged it when he seen Christ coming.
Excellent, yeah.
But there's a fallacy at work that in the environment seems to be celebrating Christ and who he is, that you have the lion bar and the king crisps. So it's the lion and the king, and it's like a celebration of Christ. And the whole punchline to the story is, if you're wondering what network Mary is on, she's on Virgin Mobile.
Oh,
right.
Very good.
Right, so that's the joke. So that's how my work comes together, you know, little ideas here and there.
Yeah.
very good.
This one.
Facebook and
The baby, that was a portrait of my cousin, and his name is Cody McLeod, that baby there.
Okay.
Think of code as in, you know, IT technology, the web and all that. So Cody McLeod, the cloud is the web. So Cody McLeod, it's a reference to the web.
Yeah.
And his head is embroiled in this cloud, enveloped in this cloud. But the cloud looks like a rat or something vermin, something not right about the cloud.
Yeah.
And
the
building block spells out the word fate.
Oh, right.
Right, so it's Facebook F, the Twitter T, and the E for the internet. So it spells out the word fate.
Yeah.
And it's our fate to be embroiled in technology now.
Okay.
The children are completely consumed by technology.
Okay.
And that's what that's about.
Okay.
He's got the barcode on his hand, you know, Mark of the Beast and all that. So
yeah, there's so much to see in your pictures. Find them all.
it's a labyrinth of little ideas that come together. Yeah.
And you were saying this one with the water. Was this
Yeah,
one?
the water meter. The idea was I was painting these to life. This is an early sample. I got better as I got me better skill. But I play little jokes on myself now. I joke as being a schizophrenic that I'm being stalked by Snuffleupagus. You know, this imaginary friend. That's what I joke about. But I put big board in, right? Snuffleupagus' friend, big board, because he's yellow. He reflects the yellow here. At first glance, it looks like it's just a reflection of the bread, but on closer inspection, it's actually big board.
Yeah.
And he's got bloodshot eyes, he's been out the night before and he's looking at this breakfast table, you know, he's getting up for work.
Yeah.
So it's called Big Bird's Breakfast. In it at the time was the Irish water debacle, you know, all that, telling us if you don't pay, you're in trouble. So there's a mug there that says pay and become this. And that means if you pay your Irish water bill, you're going to become an Irish water mug.
Yeah, excellent.
You know?
Yeah, very good.
So pay and become this, an Irish water mug. It's true, yeah.
Yeah. That was just a better version, or
Yeah, that's just a straightforward still life. I love painting the Brennan's bread now.
Yeah.
It's such it's iconic in 100 years. You know, these paintings will be pure nostalgia.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.